James Mountainous. These are 5 Uruguay Tannat wines. I'll give my thoughts and impressions on each of these wines, so please give a whirl. These are wines to be considered, and I think they have a really nice modern aspect to each of these wines. Stay tuned. Now this is a Castel Pujol. This is Folklore Tinto. So it's 80% Tannat co-pigmentation with 20% Petit Mansing first press skins. So nice bottle here. We have a burgundy bottle, which you don't always see on a Tannat wine. And I think this is a lovely, lovely expression. This Tannat is in harmony with the Petit Mansing. So Tannat is destemmed and then macerates with Petit Mansing skins. It is a $23 price point. This is native yeast, unfiltered, unfined. Now the origin of this wine is Cerro Chapo and Riviera, Uruguay, 250 meters above sea level. Mouth-watering characteristics to this wine. More violet colorization than I would expect, but the Tannat definitely expresses in terms of this being a very darker garnet colorization, slightly violet colorization. This wine is giving an expression of boysenberry, ground clove, as well as fresh cedar, moistened red earth, and violets. Lighter tannic expression, very bright acidity, and I think this wine comes out in a, I would say, a very balanced, harmonious way. It's a medium-bodied wine. The content in terms of this being a Tannat wine, I might not guess that if I was blind tasting that, which I think is a really nice experience. And I think it has a very modern touch. So this is not going to be such a heavy wine. It's one to enjoy with salumi, cheeses, enjoy this with beef dishes, pizza, and so forth. But I think this is a lovely expression. So this is a $23 price point, 13% ABV. So all of these particular check-ins, especially with the Petit Mansing, I think really gives some unique balance and a lovely, delicious wines. Very bright acidity, black cherry, as well as a cherry confit, freshly ground spices, a core of hoisin. Very nice savory experience to this wine, bay leaf and bright floral. This wine is 93 points out of 100 points. And next is Don Pascual's. This is a Coastal Tannat 22 vintage and a $16 price point. Outstanding price point. Another bottle that's a burgundy shaped bottle. Here is the front label, back label. Now this wine is being sourced from several regions. That is the San Jose, Canelones, as well as Maldonado. It is 30 kilometers away from the Atlantic, which is about 19 miles. So this is a very light, appreciable wine. And so this is a 12.5% ABV. The colorization on this is a medium garnet colorization. And so the nose on this is expressing with Morello cherry. I think it's a really nice, profound Morello cherry, almost like a Sangiovese character to this wine. Fresh spices, dried herbs, and violets. Very noticeable acidity, approachable tannins, very nice tart red fruit on this, pomegranate, delicacy and spices, and a finish with minerals. I think this is a superb wine, especially the price point at $16, suggested retail. So this is 93 points out of 100 points. This is pretty much the opposite of what most people think of a Tannat from Uruguay. This is Vina Progresso. This is Bodega Experimental de Gabriel, Pisano, a 20 vintage, 13.5% ABV wine. Very cool artwork here. And so this is a 2000 case production, $18 suggested retail price point. The fruit is being sourced from small parcels, and the village is called Progresso. So I believe that might be considered an appellation. The must is macerated 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, which is about 50 to 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit, in stainless steel tanks for 4 to 6 days. And then it's a 20-day maceration with skin contact. Now the wines are in second use barrels, both American and French oak. And so that's for a 3 to 4 month aging period. Very light tannins. This is a wine that I'd say is completely vitreous compared to the other wines. Light to medium garnet color. It is vitreous, so I can see through this wine. And I think this is a lovely expression for a lot of foods. Very nice concentration of red fruit, as well as simmering spices, dried cedar, and freshly ground spices and violets. So the palate is expressive: red cherry, red currant, pepper, red tea, thyme, and mineral finish. Wine is 93 points out of 100 points. And next is this wine. This is a Monte Toscanini wine. This is the Gran Tannat wine. And so this is a, I would say, more classic style Tannat from Uruguay. This is coming from, this is, first of all, it's a 2020 vintage. This is coming from Las Piedras-Canelones appellation. Here's a back label for you to look at here. This is aged in oak for 14 months and 14.5% ABV. This is a $50 suggested retail price point. So a very classic wine in terms of its structure. Now this is a delicious wine where I think this is that stylization that might be very familiar to many of you out there. It's a dark violet color, It is non-vitreous, expressive of black fruit, moistened red earth, leather, fresh herbs, and espresso. Fresh wine, this is 2024, and it's a 2020 vintage. It's a very handsome wine, fantastic structure. So this is giving characterization of black currant, blackberry, clove, savory core of bay leaf, as well as finished with cocoa powder and pepper. This wine is 95 points out of 100 points. Now this is the Bouza Tannat. This is a 2020 vintage. Really like the side label here. Actually, it's a one-piece label, but to the side has a lot of information on this wine, which I would love to see, and actually more labels. I think that's a nice feature that I don't have to go hunting for things. And so I think it's a nice way of talking to people about Tannats, but other wines as well, right? Heavier bodied wine, silken tannins to this wine, superb acidity. And so this is also a higher alcoholic wine at 15.5%, which is within the range of what I would expect for many a Tannat. And so I think this is a really lovely expression. A $27 price point. This family's been producing Tannat, I think, since the early 2000s. Now this is aged 14 months on a combination of French and American oak, 15.5% ABV, $27 price point, and this is a total production of 38,137 bottles. Very dark violet colorization in this wine. It's non-vitreous, enlivened fresh wine, a vivid characterization of black fruit, black cherry, blackberry, pepper, spice box, dried red rose petal, and bay leaf. This wine is presenting with silken tannins, noticeable acidity, blackberry, clove, ground peppercorn, game and hoisin in core, and finishing off with dried herbs. This wine is 93 points out of 100 points. Between videos, you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. I'll put more information on all these wines down below. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video review. Salud!